Hey guys, this is Shasta with Live, Love, Learn, Go. Because remember, I want you to live life, love more, and learn as you go explore. And if you're watching this, you are probably desperately looking for information. You are trying to figure out what to do, where to go, how to start, who to listen to. And so this video is going to kind of give you an outline on how to do that and give you some options if you still need some help after that. And just to let you know a little bit about who I am a mother of 6. I have 5 in the house. I have adopted kids and bio kids. I actually adopted one of my former students when I lived in or worked in the high school, and I have some kids adopted from Haiti. So I have a lot of kids, and I've actually had my kids in homeschool, in public school, a mix of both. Right now, I actually have some kids in public school and some kids homeschooling. So I have a lot of experience on both sides of everything. As a teacher and an educator in the school, I taught sign language for a lot of years in the classroom. I left the classroom to build sign language curriculum and teach online. I've taught online for a couple different states, actually. And so right now I'm actually building my own courses and offering things for homeschool families and helping other people build courses that they're interested in building so that they can stay home with their kids. So it's really exciting, some of the things I get to do. And I really have a lot of friends right now that are, let's see, it's actually, I'm recording this the beginning of May 2018. And I was going to do some live videos, but I actually just got diagnosed this week with Lyme disease. So my face has been acting funky for a while, since last fall. And so I'm a little nervous about going live because my face just goes weird at different times, and sometimes it hurts, sometimes it just looks funny. And so I thought, I'll just go with the recorded video, and I'm sure you guys will understand. I'm a real person. I'm really here, and I will reach out. I'll respond if you need me to. And as things get better, I will probably start doing some more lives. But for now, I'm just going to stick with the recording because I'm feeling good right now, and I didn't want to miss this opportunity. So I've had a lot of friends. Like I said, it's May 2018. It's towards the end of the school year, and I cannot tell you how many people in the last 2 months have pulled their kids out of school across the country. And I've seen people in groups. I've seen my friends do it, and I just thought, wow. And so what I see is all these people pulling the kids out for a lot of different reasons. It's the violence, it's bullying, it's sexual harassment, it's educators that are just not meeting their kids' needs. It's kids who are just done with school. They're done. They're not going to go. They can't deal with the peer pressure. They can't deal with their teachers. They can't deal with the academics, the testing, whatever it is. And so they have pulled their kids out for a multitude of reasons. And so they're online and they're looking for help right now. They're looking for answers. And so that's why I wanted to make this, to try to help you find those answers and give you some direction so that you have somewhere to start off on, like a little foundation. And then if you still need help after that, I want to be able to help you do that. Okay, so before you can really dive in to homeschooling, you have to believe that you can do it. And I believe you can. I don't think that there is anybody out there who is not capable enough to do homeschooling, who is able to take the initiative and find this information and do something with it. So, and guys, it doesn't matter if it could be, you could be watching this video in May, June, July. It could be September, October, November, and your kid started school and you pulled them out and you decided this isn't working. You can start this process at any time. If you've pulled your kid out at any point, you do not have to immediately dive into curriculum. You can't pick the right curriculum if you don't understand your kid, if you don't know where they're at, if you don't know what they need to be learning, if you don't know how to provide that experience that they're going to be engaged in. And so it doesn't matter when you're watching this. You can start this process at any time, and you can take this 6-week course at any time. It's okay. You can do it. If you're here, you're already doing that, and that means you can do this for your kid. You have to believe that. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to come across your path that are going to tell you, oh my gosh, you can't homeschool. Why are you going to homeschool? And you're going to tell yourself that. You're going to have bad days, and you're going to look at yourself and you're going to say, you can't do this, but you can. Okay, so it's really, really important that you find a group or a couple groups online and in person to support, and encourage you. And to help you create the most awesome, amazing educational experience for your kids, so when they look back, they remember that you did that for them, that you created something that was so personalized for them that it made them become the best person that they could be. And that is something that the public school cannot and does not do for our children in most places. There are some places that are exceptional, but for the most part, it is a mass education system and it does not meet individual needs. And that is what I want to help you do, is to believe that you can do it and then help you to create those personalized educational experiences that your kids are going to love and thrive from. And so the first thing that you're going to need to do, and maybe you've heard this, maybe if you've been in the groups on Facebook, you've seen this word and maybe you've done some research, maybe you're like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Or maybe you haven't even gotten that far and you have not heard this. But the first thing you've got to do is something we call deschooling. Deschooling? What is that? Because I'm still schooling my kid. You're still going to be educating your kid. But school is something we send our kids to. It's kind of like church. Have you ever had the conversation about, religion and church isn't what your relationship is? Okay, so whoever you believe in, I'm a Christian, and so I believe in Jesus, and so I go to church, and it is considered a religion, and it's kind of how school is. They go to school, but just going to church or just going to school, it doesn't make you a Christian. It doesn't make you educated. Okay, you have to have something in you. You have to have a relationship with whoever you believe in, and the same thing is with education and learning. You have to have a relationship, a connection to the information that's coming in, or it's not going to stick with you. It's not going to matter. And that's what's happening with our kids. We're giving them all this information, and it doesn't stick with them. They have no reason to connect with it. And you could take people to churches, but if they don't connect with that information, if they don't connect with whatever it is that's going on, then going to church doesn't change their perspective. It doesn't change their life. It doesn't impact who they are. And so we send these kids to school and we say, we're going to slam them with all this information because they're going to school. And that's what they do. And it's going to change their life, and they're going to be educated, and they're going to be able to be successful adults. But guess what? They're not connecting for a multitude of reasons. Whether it's because they're not being taught the right way, whether they have situations at home, whether their teachers are not appropriate teachers for them, whether the testing and the information is overwhelming. There's so many different reasons why kids are not connecting with information, and maybe they would if it was presented a different way. Just like, have you ever had somebody, again, back to the church and religion, you've got somebody and they've never been a believer of anything, and suddenly they become a believer, and you think, what happened? How did that happen? How did that happen? Their whole life changes. Everything they do changes. It's because somewhere they had a connection. We have to do that to our kids. And schooling is not the connection. Going to school is not what they have to have. So deschooling is when you take a step back and you say, okay, I get it now. That makes sense. Okay? And you have to get out of that mind frame of showing up means learning. Sitting in a classroom means learning. Okay? It doesn't. And so you take a step back from the traditional thought of what schooling is. And you have to retrain your brain for a lot of people. Now, for me, I didn't have to retrain my brain because I already didn't think that worked. And I'm okay with thinking out of the box and trying 50 different things to see what works. And I'm okay with that. Most of the people in my life, they are not okay with that, and they think I'm a little crazy. But I'm telling you, if you do the research, you're going to see You're going to see the success in what this is. And so you take a step back with deschooling, and you rethink, and you relearn about what education and learning is. Okay? And so that's kind of what I have a course that's a little more in depth that goes through all this, and it helps people. It's like a 6-week course where it helps people go through all these steps in depthly, and you can do this on your own. I'm going to give you the information so you can go and take this information and spend the next few weeks or the next few months deschooling. You are not going to get in trouble for deschooling your kids. You are the homeschool teacher. You are learning how to not school the traditional way. you're still learning, your kid's still learning things. That's part of what this whole deschooling process is, okay? So the first thing you have to do, number one, is deschooling, okay? You have to step back. Once you have stepped back and you're like, okay, I can handle this. I can do 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks of not diving right into curriculum and diving right into doing worksheets and diving right into, having a set schedule every day so that you can step back and do some research and do some of these other steps. Okay, so you're there. Okay, so the second thing you're going to have to do is understand learning styles, personality types, and love languages. And maybe you've heard of all three of those, maybe you haven't. So what are learning styles? Learning styles are the way that your kid learns. Some kids are auditory learners. They can listen to things, they can learn things just by listening. Those are the kids who like to listen to books on tape. They can listen to things in the car. They like to listen to lectures, things like that. There are visual learners, kids that just like to sit and see things. They're the readers. They're the ones that can watch, the teacher write notes. They like to read and write things. They see it. Okay. You've got the people that like to be involved. The kids that like to have their hands on and learn things and move with the learning. Be involved in the learning, build something. And those are kinesthetic learners. And so there's all kinds of learners out there, or ways to learn. And so for me, I was never an auditory learner. If you tell me, I have a really bad short-term memory. If you tell me something, it's going to get lost in my brain. And so language was always really hard for me. I took 2 years of Spanish. I don't know any Spanish. I've been to Haiti 50 something times. I've taken teams on mission trips down there. I have 2 kids from Haiti, and my older daughter speaks Creole. I can't speak a lick of Creole because I just don't retain it. When I hear it, I don't retain it. Maybe if I learned it a different way, I could get it. But I can do sign language all day long because it's hands-on. I can visualize it. I can see it. I can do it with my hands. And so I interpret and I teach sign language. And so for me, that's how I learn. And I know that about myself. So that's how I have to approach things when I'm trying to learn things. I have to watch videos. And, occasionally when I'm driving, I will play podcasts or I will listen to YouTube videos without watching them, but I don't retain as much and I have to go back. Little things will stick out and I'll have to go back and, find another way to learn what sticks out. So you have to know your kid's learning style because it's going to matter when you go to pick curriculum out. If your child is a visual learner and they want to read and they want to see something, then getting them books on tape or having them listen to long lectures is not going to work for them. Or if your child loves to watch videos and they learn a lot from that. I have kids that are like YouTube fanatics. They can sit and watch YouTube all day and they learn stuff and they go do what they learn. Crafty, making slime, all kinds of stuff. So if I have that kind of learner, I build video curriculum for them. I don't give them a lot of book work. Now you can mix it up. Everything doesn't have to be one certain way. You can mix it up. But for the majority of the learning, to get kids really grasping that learning, you have to understand the best way that they learn so that you can pick out the best curriculum for them. The other thing's personalities. I'm a huge fan of personalities. You have to understand your personality. You have to understand your kid's personality. And knowing about personality types, understanding the psychology behind the fact that we are all different and we see the world differently will not only help you understand your kid better, it'll help your kid understand you better, and it'll help you interact with other people better. And this is something that I have to remind myself. When I worked in the public school, I would get so frustrated sometimes. We'd walk in the hallway, between classes, sometimes when kids weren't around. And there were certain teachers that would be like, hey, what's up? And there would be other teachers or admin, they were just gone. They were, they didn't even give you the time of day. And I would get so offended. They must not like me. What did I do wrong? Are they mad at me? And so I would go through this whole thing. And then I had to remind myself, oh yeah, that person is this kind of personality and they're on a mission. They're not thinking about socializing. That's not their thing. They're on a mission. They've got to go. They're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And, that is how they do the greater good for the school. And my mission in school is make sure everybody's happy and we all get along and how can we help each other? And not everybody likes that and gets along with it, okay? So with my kids, understanding their personality helps me understand why they're behaving a certain way. You know, you've got kids that are social, they want to be around you all the time, and you've got kids that just want to go work alone. You've got kids that need that one-on-one. They want you there working with them all the time. You've got kids that just want to do it on their own. And so understanding the personality style will help you not be offended when they act a certain way. And it's going to help them understand why you as a parent are acting a certain way. And I promise it will make a difference in your relationship. A lot of you've probably never heard of the 5 love languages, and it's not really educationally based, but I think it is so important for parents to know what the 5 love languages is. And if you can learn this and apply it in your family, it will help your family. And honestly, it'll probably help your marriage if you're married. I wish I would have known a little bit more about this back when I was married, because it was a huge issue. We had a lot of issues, but love languages was something that we could have worked on better, because it makes a difference on how you interact. So the love languages is how somebody feels loved and how they show love. And they are words of affirmation. You've got time, touch, gift giving, and acts of service. Okay, so you have all these ways that people feel loved and the way they express love. And so for me, my love language is words of affirmation. That's how I feel loved. That is why, like I said earlier, when we're in the hallway and we're talking and an administrator or a teacher walks by and ignores me, I'm like, oh, they don't like me. What did I do wrong? It's because I need somebody to say, hey, good job, you're doing great today, you've done wonderful. You know, I just want to hear good things. You don't have to take care of me. You don't have to do anything for me. I don't need you to come hang out with me, but just say nice things. Okay, that is how I feel loved. But the way I show love is by serving and helping and giving to others. And that, I love to do that. That's how I show other people I care. Now, I have a child of mine who his love language is touch. And what I mean is he just loves to be rubbed. He wants his head rubbed. He wants his arms rubbed very softly, or his legs rubbed very softly at night when he goes to sleep. That would drive me insane. And sometimes I let my kids do that. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. You don't need to rub it all over me. Okay, I'll hug. I'm a hugger. I'm a cuddler. But not that, like, just constant touching. But that is how he feels loved. And if I don't do that, then he feels like I don't love him. I can tell him all day long how amazing he is. I can buy him gifts. I can do things to take care of him. But if I don't take the time to do that, then he feels unloved. And so with my ex-husband, his was time. He wanted undevoted time, my time, focus on him. Now, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a busybody. I probably have ADD. My mind is busy, busy, busy. I like to go, 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 do. And we have, tons of kids. So I didn't give him time, undivided, focused time. I don't even know how to focus on one thing. I don't know that I can. But it didn't matter what I did for him, my acts of service, what nice things I said, what gifts I, bought him. He didn't feel loved if I didn't give him time. And when he didn't get time, guess what I didn't get? Words of affirmation. Because why is he going to say anything nice to me when he's mad at me because I don't spend time with him? And it was this vicious cycle of I didn't feel loved, even though I'm sure he loved me deeply. I know he did, but I didn't feel loved, and he didn't feel loved. And it just created this chaos in our family. And so the love languages, if you can understand those love languages in your family, it's just going to help your family to get along better, to understand each other better, to feel that love. And if children feel loved, if children feel connected to their parents, then their minds don't have to be thinking about that. Does my mom love me? Is my mom mad at me? Am I going to do something wrong? They can clear that out of their mind, and they can focus on their passions and their learning and what they're doing in life. And they don't have to have that as part of something that's infiltrating and worrying them and stressing them out. And that is something that probably is going on in a lot of minds of children every day at school. They've got so many things going on, and they're just thinking about, am I loved? Does somebody care about me? And maybe they are loved, but they don't feel it because they're not getting shown the right way. If somebody's a gift giver and they're constantly just buying gifts and getting things for their kids, but they never spend time with them, or they never give those words of affirmation, or they never take time to touch, whatever their child's love language is, their child is going to be suffering internally and mentally over whether they feel loved. Okay, so if you can see, I'm kind of passionate about this. You have to know their personalities, their learning styles, and their love languages. Okay, it's huge. Number 3, passions. I could go on and on forever on passions. Okay, I believe that passion is what drives us. Passion is what motivates us. Passion is what gets us up in the morning when we don't want to get out of bed. Passion is what makes people go learn information, even if it's boring. Passion will make you go learn something and be excited about it. Okay? And so I think that a lot of education needs to be passion based. And, a lot of they call it passion based teaching or passion based learning. And so you have to know what your kids' passions are so that you can build a curriculum. If you understand their learning style, you understand their personality, and then you understand what their passions are and what is important to them, you can find curriculum and learning material to connect to that passion. And I'm going to share a quick little story about why I know that this matters, and why I've suddenly become even more passionate about passions, okay? Because it's always been one of my things. But teaching in the school recently, I saw something that broke my heart. And I would see these kids that seemed so depressed. And they would sit in class and, they didn't say much. And it wasn't my class, it was everybody's class. I'd walk around and see these kids, their heads down on the desk. They walked in the halls, kind of whatever. They didn't really talk. But then I would see those same kids. They looked all depressed and I was all worried about. And I'd walk by the art room. And I'd look in the art room. And these kids were glowing. Their eyes were bright with sparkles. And there was an aura of light around them. And they were interacting and they were moving. And they were just filled with so much life and light and energy. And they were involved in their learning. And then the bell would ring. And I would see them walk out and physically change. They'd have to be walking to their math class or their history class. And their shoulders would drop. And they would go to their math class because they didn't think math mattered. Because they didn't connect to their math learning. I'd walk by the health occupations class where kids were learning to be CNAs, and they were happy and they were excited and they were hands-on. And I'd walk by the music class and these kids were happy and making music. In the gym, these boys were excited and, they were doing things and they were happy. And then they walk out of these classrooms to go to these core subjects that they don't think matter because they're not connected to it, or they're not connected to the teacher. They don't see why it's important. And they would physically change and they wouldn't try. And they're failing and they're giving up on their future. They don't have any hope. They're causing problems. It's just creating this entire environment in the school system that is creating problems for everybody. You see how there's so much you could do. If your kid's interested in cars, you could teach them so much math and science and history around cars. And you could have little tiny month-long projects. You could go for a year. You can keep building curriculum and building learning that incorporates the history, the English, the math, the science, everything around what these kids are interested in. You know how much stuff I don't remember from school that I've never used? You know how many times we've all said that? Never used that. Why did I have to learn that? Okay, the public school system says it makes your brain work a certain way, and so you should learn it because it helps the processes in your brain. Okay, but you know what? If kids are chasing their passions, they are going to activate parts of their brain that the public school will never activate. And they will activate parts in them that are inspired, that are energized, that are happy. And that will make better students. They will become these learners that are not just learning what they're told to learn. They're going to go seek out more information. They're going to want to know more. How does this work? Well, how does that work? Well, why does that work? And that's what your job is, to guide them. Maybe they're not at a level to ask those questions. So you have these conversations with them. When you know their learning styles and when you know their personalities and you know how they want to demonstrate their learning, you can create projects for them. Okay, so maybe your kid doesn't want to create a video, but they can talk all day long. Okay, so they failed all the tests in school because they weren't test takers, but they're not dumb kids. Let them talk to you. Let them sit and explain to you about whatever it is that they learned about. And then you can say, oh, And that's where you throw in some deeper questions. Well, go find out about this. I'm really curious about this. Come, tell me about this. And so they can go and they go find that information, and it builds their confidence and it builds their enthusiasm on learning. Passion based learning is the way that these kids need to be learning. You don't need to say, here's your math lesson for today, here's your science lesson for today, here's your history lesson for today, and just go sit and do it. Because if you create school like that at home, you're going to have the same problems that these kids have in the public school. And it's going to be that they're not connecting to their learning. You're going to struggle and you're going to fight with your kids. And you're going to be like, I can't do homeschool. They won't do anything for me. Okay? It is okay if you don't do school that way. It is okay. It's more than okay. Don't do school that way. Don't segregate and separate these subjects. Integrate into what these kids are interested in, and they will learn more than they ever learned. And one great example of that is summer camp. How many of you ever went to summer camp? Okay, I went to summer camp, and I can tell you that in my 1 week of summer camp, I have more memories, I learned more, I can spew off more facts about whatever it is we learned about than I remember about whole years of school. I blocked out whole years of school. I can't tell you anything, nothing about whole years of my school experience because they were so bad. But I can tell you about all kinds of things that happened in this 1 week period. Why? Because they engaged me. I was passionate about what was going on. I was excited about that kind of learning. And I wasn't in school. Okay? Passion, I could go on, and I will. If you want to learn some more about that, sign up for the course I'm offering because it's so in depth, and there's so much you can do with it, and there's so much you can do to change your child's life if you will allow them to chase. Don't you want to chase your passions? That's what I do too. I help adults because we keep getting told you have to do this in the box, and we fight it, and we dream about being able to do something different. You can do something different. You can. Just like you're going to teach your kid, you can do something different too. I'm going to move on. Okay, so the next thing, number 4, are methods of homeschooling. And you need to know the different methods. And there are tons and tons and tons. I actually have to pull this up because there are so many ways to homeschool. Okay, so you've got unschooling, which is very free. And there's different levels of unschooling. There's relaxed and eclectic. That's probably a lot of what mine is, passion-based, relaxed, eclectic. I am just a modge podge of whatever works for whatever one of my kids I'm working with. Classical, which is a lot more conservative. It's Christian-based. I've heard amazing things on classical. Waldorf, I don't know a lot about that one. Multiple intelligences, so understanding the level of intelligences that your kid is. The Charlotte Mason, Montessori, you've got road school, virtual and online, which is basically where you take public school, you just do it at home online. You've got traditional, where you just recreate homeschool, or you recreate public school at home. You've got unit topic based, which is a lot of passion based, but some people just pick a topic for their kid, and they say, okay, this is the topic we're going to learn. You've got really Christian based or very secular based. There's so many methods of homeschooling. So you need to go and study those so that you know what you're going to do. So you've learned your kids' personalities, you've learned their learning styles, you have an understanding of their passion, and now you have to go research and find out all these different methods. And I'm working on a book, so it will be posted here, that kind of shows and compares all the different learning styles. So hopefully that'll be out, so keep looking for that. But it's also in the class that I have. I go through each of these different styles and show you different ways, the different methods, and go more in depth on what those methods are and how they work. So once you get your deschooling and your personality types and your passions and your methods of homeschooling, then you've got your curriculum. And curriculum is like the ocean right now. You have so many options for curriculum, like tons of options. You're so lucky. Used to be like just bookwork. And then video came out, and I think Abeka is like one of the first ever homeschool things, and it was book work, and then they came out with videos, and some of I think they're still using some of the first videos that they came out with, but they're good. The system's good. But there's virtual schools now, which is just public online homeschools where you just do everything online. I'm a big fan of mixing it up. I don't think any kid should just be all sitting down doing book work all day. I don't think they should be all online all day. I think you need to mix it up with, some reading, some paperwork, and it depends on your kid's learning style. What's going to work for them. Some video based, some just actual movie watching video based kind of stuff, and then some actual, like, let's watch a teacher and learn something that way. You've got hands-on learning. I'm all about live your life, like go to the museums, go see stuff. If you can't watch a video on it, there's just so many ways. Go actually live out a certain job to learn something. I don't know. I help parents kind of figure out how to do this. So once parents have figured out their kids' learning style and their what method they want to go through, or maybe we've worked through and decided the method, then we can work on curriculum and build a curriculum. And guess what, guys? Here's the good news. If it doesn't work, what you do the first month, if it's not working, you can change it. You can't do that in public school. Like when you show up, it doesn't matter if you have a class full of 30 kids and it's working for 20 and it's not working for 10 and one of yours is the 10, tough luck. Because they're going to keep doing that same method and it's not going to work. And your kid's going to get in trouble, or they're going to be unhappy, or they're going to look like they're failing. And that is part of what is wrong with the public school system. But that is one of the greatest benefits of homeschooling is the flexibility. You do not have to stick to one program. You don't have to stick to one method. You don't have to stick to one curriculum. Okay? You can change it up, and you can try different things to figure it out. And it'll be okay. You're not going to get in trouble for doing that. And that's kind of what number 6, the laws, the legalities, and the myths. There are a lot of laws, but guess what? It's not against the law to homeschool. Okay? There are a lot of different rules that you have to follow. So some states, they require you to sign up either through the district that you're with as a homeschooler, which means you fall under their requirements and their regulations, and you have to submit paperwork to them to say, hey, I'm homeschooling, here's my proof. Okay, and sometimes that proof is a portfolio or it's a teacher signature. I've done a lot of those. I'm a certified teacher in Florida, so I've written a lot of evaluated kids and done a evaluation. Sometimes you can sign up under a private school. In Florida, they have Florida Unschoolers, which is a private school that you can sign up in, and you send your attendance report in, and so you're not bound by the public school at all. You just send your attendance in, and your kid is a private school student. Now, you have to decide if you want your child to be involved in extracurriculars in the school system, then they need to be a homeschooler under that system. If that's not that important or it doesn't matter, then you can be a private school student. Some states require you to set up your own private school and name your private school, and you have to report these things. And then within all that, there is funding. Some states have funding, some states don't, some have grants, especially if you have special needs kids. There's a lot of stuff under the laws and legalities, and I can give you some resources, and I'll have some links to resources on where to find this for your state. And then the myths are just, a lot of the things you hear about, like, how are you going to homeschool? How can you afford to homeschool? Well, I can help you make money at home if you're not sure, because there's so many ways. What about socialization? You're going to hear that 50,000 times. Listen, your kids are going to be socialized. And when they go to the public school, for most schools nowadays, they don't even let them socialize. There's no time to socialize in the sense of what we think of, like kids need socialization. No, they go to class, they have to sit, they have to be quiet, they can't interact, unless it's a group activity. In lunches, they have volume control in a lot of lunchrooms where they can't even talk too loud. They can't get excited. They can't be kids. They have to be quiet with their lunch. It's very sad. These are little kids that get put on silence during their lunchtime because it's too loud. Well, that's what kids do. They get loud. They're allowed to get loud. Let them be a kid. Okay. So there are so many myths on like the socialization. You have to learn how to get over that, and you have to be able to say, hey, my kid does this, and you need to know, about the homeschool communities and things like that. So that's something that you will look into for your own state, or if you join the course, we'll have some resources in there. um, and then last, my little just bonus thing is community. Get a community, whether it's online, whether it's in person. I think you should definitely find people in person, families locally to connect with. And you don't have to, connect every single week. It just depends on your schedule. Um, but yes, it is important to find things for your kids to be involved in, find friends for your kids to hang out with, whether it's in sports, in church, in, the homeschool groups. And then what you can do is communities can rally around you and help you, where maybe you get overwhelmed with the online stuff, or maybe you want to try something different and they have that curriculum and you don't want to buy it yet, so they can lend it to you. Okay, they can talk to you about what's worked with their kids, what doesn't work. You can work with each other to give each other a break. Guys, you're going to need a break. Okay, I need breaks often, and I'm lucky I have a lot of support, so I get to get that. But you're going to want to be able to trade off and say, hey, I'll do this really crafty, creative, Pinteresty day because I like it, or we'll make snacks this day. Bring your kids over and you go take a break for that morning or that afternoon, and I'm going to take the kids for that day. And maybe you set up a schedule so that once a week on this day you have this house, and on another day in the afternoon you do this, and on another day. And if you have some families that can do that, one, you're going to get plenty of socialization. Two, you're going to get to see how other people do their homeschooling. And two, you're going to get a much needed break, a grocery store run without the kids, time to go exercise, whatever it is. You don't neglect you, because you have to be happy and you have to be healthy to be able to homeschool your kids. And it's very, very important that you find that and do that for your kids. So I just want to encourage you again that you can do this. You can homeschool your kids. And I just want to offer, if you are still unsure, if you are really excited, but you're like, I'm still overwhelmed, then join my little class. It's not very much. It's just going to be a 6-week class to kind of walk you through every step of the way, where I can help you create a plan, and I'm going to help provide the resources that you need. And we'll develop a community of people online that you can connect with, that are understand where you are, that are where you are right now. And so you don't feel alone, so that you know that you can do this. Okay, so if you're thinking, I want to do this, but I'm still just not 100% sure that I'm ready or that I know how to do this on my own, then let me help you. I want to be able to do that for you. And I have a course that I've developed, a 6-week course that will help walk you through the whole deschooling process, that will help you figure out your kids' learning style, their personality, their love language, help you find ways to figure out what their passion is, and how to find the right homeschool method to meet that passion, and the right curriculum that is going to empower them to go after that passion and to create learning around that passion. And I'm going to help you navigate the laws and the legalities for your state and how homeschooling works for that. And if you want to join that group, then just click below and do the I want to join now button, and I will send you the information for that course. It's a $47 course, and it's just something that I want to be able to offer for you guys to help walk you through this process, because you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to be overwhelmed, and I want you to believe that you can do this. You can. Okay? So sign up, join the group, and don't be overwhelmed. Start your deschooling process now and get ready for the best homeschooling experience of your life. And if you sign up now for the class, I'm going to throw in a little extra bonus for you, and it's a digital portfolio class. It's something I usually offer separately, but I know that when you're first getting started with homeschooling, it's overwhelming, and you're going to be learning all this information. And one of the things that a lot of states require is a portfolio. You have to be able to show your students' work. And so a digital portfolio not only gives you a space online to collect all this information on the different methods and to collect information on curriculum, but it gives you a space to plan and to modify those plans very easily when things change. It gives you a place to collect and keep track of your child's work, and it's something that you can then submit to your state to prove or to verify the learning that's been going on. And so it's a great, great tool that I want to be able to offer you guys as a bonus if you sign up now. So it doesn't matter when you're watching this, you can start this process at any time, and you can take this 6-week course at any time. It's okay, you can do it. Start your deschooling process, change your kid's life, become a champion for your child's education, and it will change their future, which is what we all want for our kids. We just want a better future and want a better experience for them. So join us now.